Well folks, welcome back to the workshop. This is a requested video, or technically a requested one anyway. Somebody asked me to do a wee teardown or how to repair one of these here Makita SDS drills, so that's what this is going to be. Dedicated video on just this particular drill. Mind you, can't actually mind who made the request, but hopefully this comes in handy for them anyway. At least I hope it can be fixed, because I haven't even ran this thing yet. Customer says it's running, but it has no hammer. So we're going to see if we can repair this thing up. We'll do a dedicated video on it. This is the Makita HR2630 SDS drill. And this one is from 2022. And the customer who owns it gets a lot of work out of it. This thing could be running all day long. These particular models in the beginning, whenever they first came out, weren't that great. We actually stopped selling them here in the shop. They were quite troublesome, especially inside the hammer section. But Makita must have the problems fixed now, because you don't get these in for repair anymore. I can't actually remember the last time I had one of these in for repair. That's why I haven't actually posted this video beforehand. Normally you'll be getting them in every week whenever they first came out, but that's slowly fizzled down. You don't get them in anymore now. We've actually started selling these things again. There's no actual problems with them now. Apart from this one, obviously has got a problem. She's running. Sounds like it's hammering. There's another wee problem there. See the actual rubber cap on the end. Whenever you can see the steel chuck underneath, replace that. Not that it's a problem, but whenever you're drilling while hard, it wears away this cap. If you're going all the way into the hole, it wears away and eventually starts sliding down the chuck, leaving the sleeve in the open position. So if your drill will not hold onto a bit and it keeps falling out, simply replace that rubber cap and that'll fix your problem. Common wee things with us. Obviously this one's not completely gone yet. We'll just replace that as well. See what she's doing here. Oh. Okay, so that's not hammering at all. It's more vibrating than hammering. So definitely a problem inside the gearbox. Make a start on this and start stripping it. First thing to do is get this cap off anyway. Once you have the cap off, little C-clip underneath. There's actually two C-clips. This first one just holds on this metal washer, and that actually holds on the rubber cap at the top. It fits on with the smooth side facing up, so the C-clip does not go into this groove, it goes on top of it. Then under that we have another C-clip holding on the actual plastic sleeve. Where'd it go? Always listen to where it drops. More chance of finding it. Pull all that off. Don't lose the steel balls. And then unclip this little plastic cover underneath. It's just clipped in place. That lifts up. Change lever also just lifts out. These used to have a little push cord, but they've changed them now. There's just a steel pin and a spring as well. Get that out of the way and take off the gearbox. I'll take this off without the motor. Hoping I'm not doing that. Now I have to open this end to reset the brushes. It's not actually a big deal. All you have to do is lift these springs up and get them out of the way. Just so you can pull these brushes up then. That's it. That'll go back in again now. Just hoping I'm taking it out like that. Now, start to see what the problem might be. Doesn't look to be much grease in this. That's just your selector. See, all this here is dry. Look. So if that's dry, the piston's going to be dry as well. Take this apart. Big push on clip up here. Pop that off. And the washer. They're holding on this gear assembly. But they also just stop this here clutch gear from getting past. Pull them off. That can come out. And there's the problem. Bone dry. And the actual hammer or the striker is jammed inside the piston. The actual striker bolt's still moving on the inside, so that should be okay. Main thing is just the piston, the striker and the O-ring. There's two socket head screws down here. Get them out. That'll allow you to take out. That's your gear assembly. Now if that comes out, you can actually get the piston out. Just take them off for now. Slide that out. That looks okay. You have a spring down in here, a little washer on the bottom. We wash all that out. This one, instead of having two washers, has this little metal spring. That's jammed. That might not come out. They're not going to go on. See if we can salvage the striker. That is tight. Probably not be able to salvage this. That's jammed. Replace the O-ring, the striker and the piston. Will also give us a good washout. Get rid of all the dirt, especially up on here. There's bits of aluminium and dirt mixed up inside that tool holder. Get all that off, get off all the old grease. That's it all clean. And that's all the parts we should need. Rubber cap for the end. This is the one ended in 8/8. Striker, if you're ever needing it, 325784-2. The piston, 310345-1. Just the one of them we need. And one O-ring. Part number 213258-4. one of those not sure if the old one could be saved or not if we got it out of there, but what do they cost? €3.50 plus the VAT. Not much point in trying, just replace it. Probably work out cheaper in the long run. The actual piston itself only costs $10.90 plus the VAT. It's well worth that there. Right, first thing, goo and Loctite. Just put a wee dab on this before we start, before I forget. Just them two socket heads, because they're just going to be holding on this. So where am I? One O-ring, a little bit of grease. Bit of grease down in here too. You don't have to use this here Bosch gear grease. You could also order a wee tub of Makita grease. That's the number there if you're ever needing it. 181490-7. That's actual hammer grease, and it'll work on these here SDS drills as well. About 30mm, more than enough for one of these here. But I just use the bar stuff because I have it here in a syringe already. So get that in there. A little bit extra on the outside. And in here. There should be a wee spring clip. This boy. Slides in there. And the pin then for holding it on. That in there. Now don't forget down here, your pistons are going to be going down, and there's a spring in here, but you wouldn't want the spring pushing against the aluminium housing because it would wear out very fast. There's actually a metal washer at the bottom of there. Push that on first over the wee pointy boy in the bottom. And put the spring on top. And on top of that, you put your piston. Just take the hole in the center shaft, point it out. Now I know this is also aluminium on top of steel spring, but this here metal plate actually sticks out a little bit further, so it's actually, the spring's actually sitting on this here, not the aluminium piston. So in the other models it doesn't have the spring, there's actually just two washers in there, it doesn't have this here plate. So that's going to sit there. Just get a bit of grease on that gear. And you want to put this shaft into the piston. Slide it on. Make sure it's in the piston. And put that plate down and make sure the bearing seats. I'm just holding that on. Then you can take your socket heads with the Loctite on it and lock it into place. Bit more grease on that bearing, on the shaft. Then you have these steel boys here. Doesn't matter which one you put on, they're both the same. One faces down and one faces up. This top one fits on here. Don't put anything on yet now until you get the rest of this on, because the washer on top of this actually holds this in place. Now I do like this heavier wash grease for initial setup because it sticks and it stays in place, doesn't drop everywhere. This is really good for the gears, it gives a good seal in the O-rings. But you also want a little bit of lighter stuff like that Makita stuff I did show you. Get a little bit of that in there as well. Finish this off with the lighter wash stuff. Big washer over the top of there, that's sandwiched in between the wee spring clip inside of here. Big washer, then it's a clip, another big washer. That all goes on there. Get it over this gear, and you can put on the big washer and your locking clip. That'll hold that in place. Don't worry about the seepage just yet, as long as it doesn't drop all over the bench. Leave that for now. Right, and here again, a little bit of grease initially. Then you have spring, sits in to that center hole. Grease is just good for holding it in place. Drop that on there. Steel plate goes down the way, sits on the very bottom of the housing, slides straight down. Then this here odd shaped pieces would actually gauges this here. This goes on first before you install it, because it has to, these little pins here have to engage on the selector rings. So push this one all the way down and this one all the way up, and that'll put it into hammer drill mode. And slide these here too into the two slots. And make sure this little leg sitting up there, and that's it in position. It should be sitting just a little bit off center. For the awkward bit, so if you have this in the right location, it should just drop straight into place. Just have it drop straight down. And that's your pin as well, and the housing has to go through the aluminium housing. Just line that up. And that's it on. After that, stick on your armature again. Make sure it's all the way in. You need your steel ring. Also need to disengage this brush. It's down too far. Just look inside in case the brush is sticking down. Snag in the armature and break. Drop on that little wave washer. And drop that on. Now you can, lovely. Always listen to where it lands. Just hook it on again, twist it round, drop that on. Do the same on this side. Grommet back on and your rear cover. Now to top up the grease is what the syringes come in so handy for. Push that back, just pump it directly on. So top that up, it should be more than enough. You got your spring clip, sits on there. Washer on this. That has to drop on, just give it a wee twist, make sure it's gone to the right location. And this here plastic cover pulls that down. Now, just make sure that's right so far. Nice one. All the modes are working, so that's correct. Tool holder grease in there. Now the rest is all just a tool holder. So spring on first, then this bent washer. There's two steel balls, steel plate, sleeve, metal washer, the wide one. And you've got two clips. Bigger one first. Clip that on. This here thick washer then, sort of concave to put the curved side down. And this clip then holds that on. It's that top washer that actually holds on the rubber cap on the top. New cap. And that's it. One Makita HR2630. This one's from 2022. Rebuilt again. New piston, striker, and O-ring. That'll get her hammering again, no problem. As long as the motor is good, that there should get most SDS drills up and running again. Piston, striker, and O-ring. It's only the odd time you have to replace the striker. Any SDS drill, after you've washed it out and re-greased everything, it takes a little minute for the actual grease to get onto all the right places and get proper compression again. So after you've rebuilt it and re-greased it, you may not get hammer this straight away whenever you switch it on and start hammering. might have to wait a couple of seconds or a minute for the grease to get around. Then you'll notice the hammer coming on then. So don't worry, whenever you first switch it on, it takes a second for the hammer to start. And that's her, up and running again the way she should be, hammering like a new machine. So that's it, folks. Hope you enjoyed this wee requested video. For anybody with one of these HR2630s, these used to be a troublesome machine whenever they first came out, but Makita seemed to have ironed out all the wrinkles. It's actually quite a decent wee machine now. We actually got them on quite a few times to begin with whenever they were first released. Had a few wee teething problems, we stopped selling them. But since then, you very rarely get them on now. That there's the first one I've had in quite some time. So that's her. That's how you repair them if you ever have them on. Cheers for watching, folks. As always, give us a wee like and a follow if you're enjoying the videos. If you have any questions, drop us a comment down below. Cheers.